Hey y'all, this is EW with Wise Dad. We back in the lab again. We about to go over some interesting information that I just recovered. Always coming in this with an open mind at all times, a clear spirit, and a bond with truth. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna really like look at this because this really like took me back a little bit because you know, I was doing some research. I've been following like a lot of people, and Charleston White I mentioned before in one of my videos was one of the people. He has a lot of interesting points. Um, I believe that he's a big figure for us to look at. Well, a relevant figure for us to look at now. Since he's been put out there. I believe in that we as a people, everybody, um, has have a some responsibility and in the manifestations of things that we see on a grander scale. And what I mean by that is that it takes more than one concentration to for something to manifest so big that everybody could see it. You know what I'm saying? So he's one of them. That's why he's streaming so loudly. You could see him so vividly. You could see him everywhere. Then that's why. So I'm knowing that we need to pay attention to why is that, and that's what this is about. That's what this channel is about. Why is that? We asking all the real questions because we looking for all the real answers, and we looking for the solutions and the answers so we can better ourselves and become more advanced. You know what I mean? As far as our mental ability to be able to understand how we function in that part of our existence. You know what I'm saying? Because we are threefold beings. That goes to saying, in many different aspects. So many different people have a way of saying it and expressing it. That we mind, body, and spirit. But the big part is on like our mental, on our physical health. How we deal with that, how we eat, and all that stuff. We on that. You see, it's trending hard. What I mean? You see the spiritual thing. Everybody's talking about spirits. They talking about ancestors. Everybody trying to relate. What I mean? Trying to get a grasp on that. But a lot of emphasis is being like avoided when it comes to the mind. So that's where we're at in this empowerment zone, because we know that in the mind is the focal point, that bonds the two, and it needs to be understood, and it's showing up. What I mean? Like, we deal with it so much, and sometimes we avoid it because a lot of times it takes self-discipline, a lot of self-discipline in order for us to get that under control. What I mean? So when I was there's a video I'm about to show right here in a second, that popped up, and I was like, man, this is interesting. um and it deals with mental health, and it kind of like had me stuck for a second because I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, this could really happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video for y'all, and then I'm gonna play something on what I seen another video on with Charleston White that was being interviewed by Cheese. I'm gonna give him big ups on that interview. Real nice channel that the brother has. So let's check this out real quick.
County family has spent 10 years trying to heal after their 6-year-old son was killed in their home. Now the man at the center of that case is out of prison. Kylie Hill sat down with the family and shares why his release is reopening old wounds.
It was a freak incident, one that changed the Tipton family forever.
I woke up and I heard Logan screaming, and all I could see was a man, a big man, over top of him, stabbing him.
Logan was just 6 years old, a boy who loved football and his family. And on the night of December 7th, 2015, his life was taken after being stabbed to death.
He was gasping for air. I held him so deep in my arms. And finally, they took his last breath, looked at me, and closed his eyes, and he was gone.
That night, 10 years ago, Ronald Exantis traveled from Indianapolis to Versailles, walked into the Tiptons' home, and attacked the family in their sleep. Logan was killed, and his father and 2 sisters were injured.
He snaps, just snaps, and he just stands up with me sitting on top of him. And he throws me across the room. 10, 15 feet, he throws me across the room and goes after her.
3 years later, in 2018, Exantis was found not guilty of murder by reason of insanity, but convicted of assaulting other family members. And just this month, October 1st, Exantis was released.
Hold up. How can they convict him of assault on the other family members, but downplay the murder of the little boy? Our justice system is failing us, man. Like, I just have to say that. It's just it seems like I'm back to the plot thing. I'm pretty sure everybody else has other ways of looking at it, and I'm waiting. I'm dying to see. Man, y'all comment, y'all get in here. Please get in here so other people can see, so we can reflect off each other, because we got to get to the ground of what this is. You know what I mean? We have to 20. Man, y'all go watch that. Go watch 28. They got a new one came out. It was 28 days later. I think 28 weeks later, and then 28 years later. That one I just seen that. That was the last one. But man, you get and in the initial one, it always talk about the acceleration of your emotions getting the best of you. You know what I mean? Taking over you. You know what I mean? And it seems like nobody is holding themselves responsible for that problem. And it's an epidemic. I know, and that it's the beginning of things out of control. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get it has to be just as important as the awareness of cancer, people doing runs and all that. It has to be so deep out there that everybody knows the stages of how we function. Like we know our ABCs and we know our 1, 2, 3s. Like we have to know. Like we really got to get in front of this. We have to know gestures. We have to know mood changes. We have to know color. We have to know. The like, for instance, they have, like, you could ask somebody, like, they have these laws that keep you away from knowing if a person is taking medication, but they're in the community. They're around people, and you don't even know that this person is. So you got people running rampant. It's like, I'm telling you, it's just like that movie, but they just show it in a zombie form, so they make it look like something that can't happen, but it's something that is happening right now before us. Because how can this man be charged with assaulting the rest of the family and not be charged with murdering this 6-year-old little boy? Like, bruh, I can't. All right, let's get in this, man, because, man,
Early from prison for good behavior.
uh, they let this man talking about on good behavior. What is good? What details the good behavior from the fact that he murdered somebody? How do you get good behavior from that? Like, what does he do after that? You know what I mean? That shows that he's okay to be released back into population, into society. And furthermore, where is he going? Hold on, let's go. That's
Creating that a 6-year-old was killed sleeping in his bed, and someone literally only did 10 years in prison, and he didn't even do the time for that. He did time for assault charges. It's just infuriating.
But
I bet.
says it isn't just anger they're living with. It's fear.
Me and my siblings and even my mom and dad, from here on out, we have the burden of making sure that he doesn't come back.
He told her he was going to kill every one of us. So now I've got to be on extra guard to protect my kids, because I will not lose another one. Not like this.
Through it all, the tip.
Did you see how she was looking at him, the wife? See, that's why when I'm looking at these things. Matter of fact, when I'm dealing with people just in general, I'm looking at gestures. I'm feeling energy. You know what I mean? And I'm paying attention because I want to know at what stage things are changing, because we are creatures of mood. You know what I mean? And mood is it swings, you know what I'm saying? And it changes, you know, you don't know the trauma of a person, what they going through and what triggers. You know, you don't know they triggers. So you have to be tentative. You know what I mean? There's a part of our being where we begin to become empathetic. I believe that's the word. Empathetic. That we start to feel. You know, you say put yourself in my shoes. That means you start to become one with the person you're dealing with. You know what I mean? And I think we shy away from that because we have trauma that we are ashamed of, so we don't allow ourselves to bond. You know what I mean? And I think I mean that's a major part of our existence, that we have that ability to bond. You know what I mean? And become one, so we synchronize in peace. You know what I mean? But when there's trauma and it's hitting, you know, then there's other things that's created that's blocking and being gatekeepers at that point of bonding. You know what I mean? For whatever reason. You know what I mean? So we have to be on point and aware and ability to care in order to be able to decipher. You know what I mean? To be able to see past. You know what I mean? The gatekeeper. In order to be safe. You know what I mean? I'm jumping. I went off a little bit, but I wanted to show. I just had to say that. I mean, I just had to say that piece. But if you look at the way she was looking at him, she was like, that was almost necessary that he make her believe that, because the fact that he died, that the fact that the son died, she's, I don't know if that's what's going on. I can't say that as a fact, but from what I was looking at, it seemed like she held him responsible because the man is supposed to be the safety in the house. So there's gonna be a tendency, like, you didn't save him. You know what I mean? I mean, it's gonna be a natural human thing. You know what I mean? Especially coming from a woman to a man that has put herself in position to be in the security of this man, for him to lay down his life for them. You know, that's part of that. I mean, that's just gonna be there. And I mean, that showed up there. That's a part of the mental health. See, it's mental health, y'all. It's not mental illness first, it's mental health. We are focusing on maintaining mental health. That's what we're on. So, you know, just pay attention.
Didn't say they refuse to let this tragedy define their lives. Instead, they choose to love like Logan.
I made myself a promise I wasn't going to let this tear us apart, because statistically, you know, Dean and I should be divorced.
Ah, there it is. Seen that? Did y'all see that? Statistically, because that's what these are normal human emotions that are geared around that structure. You know what I mean? That family dynamic. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be there. She's showing strength, but she's letting you know the exposure to that rule of conduct. You know what I mean? That's in the family structure. It's there. You know what I mean? So I mean, in order to maintain that, in his defense, you know what I mean, is that we as a whole people need to start figuring out that to be able to put in place a guard enough where I mean, you can't really dictate what a person gonna do and always know what's gonna happen, but if we are aware, it cuts down the butterfly effect. You know what I mean? Where these things don't start manifesting themselves into acts of cruelty so vivid and so out of this world, that a man would stand over a 6-year-old baby and not shoot him, but stab him to death, bro. Like, that is a whole nother, like, frame of mindset. That, and then our system would allow him to be placed back into society. I'm dying to know what type of super. And we're gonna get into that, but let's let this.
You know, our family should have just broken apart at the seams statistically, and I made a promise that wasn't going to happen, and I'm not going to let it happen.
Exantis will serve 6 months of parole in Florida. Kylie Hill, Fox 56 News.
And that's that. big shots out to all the facilities and companies and programs that are out there that's pushing the awareness of mental health. We need to get behind that. We need to get out here. We need to go down to the state halls and all of these conventions and become a part of that and shout mental health. You know what I mean? Ask for it to be put into the schools as a curriculum that we are able to identify, you know what I mean, with, and come up with a solution that's gonna help us better train for it, because you know it's needed with how the we interact with the police, how the police interact with us, you know what I mean, how we interact as a family unit, how we interact as a community, you know what I mean, with understanding mental health in all our facilities in all forms in all races of everything, because it's the attack is on the human race itself, because the human race functions with mental health, and we are all affected by mental illnesses, it in all forms, you know what I mean. Look, it crosses boundaries. For instance, the video that I showed you. And I just want to give a moment of silence for Logan, you know what I mean. Rest in peace, Logan. We don't wish that on no baby. We don't wish that on nobody, that they should have to suffer because of that. Because we can take control of that. We can make the change on that. And I just want to say that, y'all. So y'all get in here, man. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe. Give life to this channel. Because you know this is what we're doing. We're about change, y'all. Man, this is Wise That. This is EW. We in the empowerment zone, man. Let's go.